Postgraduate medical education prepares residents for the work that they will perform in practice. This training is aimed at what a newly qualified medical specialist should know and be able to do. In the training plan, all professional activities are elaborated as Entrustable Professional Activities, also called EPAs. This describes the knowledge, skills, attitude and behaviour that are important in the execution of the EPA, and which tools can be used to assess this. If the resident is able to perform the EPA at level 4, which means with distant supervision, a summative entrustment decision can be made. In this animation, we will explain how the summative entrustment decision-making works. Firstly, the resident discusses with the clinical educator the set of instruments that they will use for observation, assessment, and feedback. This gives the resident and the educator a clear impression of what the learning pathway will look like. The resident then gets to work and collects feedback and assessments. In order to demonstrate competence, the resident submits proof of achievements to the Clinical Competency Committee. The committee or team will then meet to discuss the progress. Each of the members has observed the resident from various perspectives. They include the day-to-day experience with the resident in the clinical workplace and the accompanying gut feeling. Based on the confidence that they have in the resident, the Clinical Competence Committee decides how much supervision is required. We call this the level of supervision. From observation to performing tasks independently with direct or indirect supervision, to supervision at a distance, and providing supervision themselves. The resident receives feedback from the clinician educator. The entrustment decisions are documented and motivated in a portfolio. As the competence of the resident increases, so the educator's trust in the resident increases and the need for supervision decreases. This results in the resident completing an increasing number of tasks independently. Once the resident has demonstrated the required competence to work under distant supervision and has gained the trust of the Clinical Competency Committee, then they will decide together to take a summative entrustment decision. Having earned the summative entrustment decision, the resident has all the competencies required to perform this professional activity independently. Once the resident has received summative entrustment decisions for all EPAs and has passed all the training segments, he is allowed to call himself a medical specialist. A good approach to summative entrustment decisions-making stimulates residents to increase their level of independence, backed by the trust of the committee and team.